Hi, I'm Chase, the RF Houston Frogs. I want to give you an update video today on some of the projects we've been working on. A lot of you have also been asking about the lab, so I wanted to tell you a lot about that as well and answer your questions on that. And after this video is over, make sure to check our website and see some of the new products that we've been discussing, and I think you're going to be happy with what you see there. I'm excited to show you a lot of these new projects. As you know, our slogan is Sound Science, Innovation, Advanced Husbandry, because we're always innovating using sound science to bring you the most advanced husbandry possible, to not only improve your life as a hobbyist, but to improve the lives of the animals that you're working with as well. I wanted to thank everyone for your support. It's been quite a journey over the last 3 years. As you know, now I do this full time. I couldn't do that without all of your support. I really do appreciate y'all because this is something that I have a great passion for. I've always loved biology, chemistry. I wouldn't have gotten my master's if I hadn't of. And now that I have this lab built and I'm working on all these new projects for y'all, this is a dream come true for me. So let me tell you about some of those projects I'm working on right after I tell you about the lab. So this lab itself, the way that it's structured, it has a filtration system with 4 separate filters. Those are down to 0.1 microns. Those are going to filter out every single or almost every single particle that you can imagine. That's going to be any kind of bacteria, fungal spores, even viruses. Anything you can imagine is going to be filtered out before it enters this room. Then we have a second filtration system, an internal filtration system itself having 4 filters, and those are going to be 5 micron, a cold catalyst filter, a carbon filter, and then behind that is a 0.1 micron filter. So even if I bring in any type of fungal spores myself, and even with encapsulating those with the hairnet that I usually wear, the mask, the N95 mask that I usually wear, with the gloves, with the lab coat, and with spraying myself down completely with alcohol, even if I bring in some kind of contaminants, that's going to filter out anything that I myself am putting into the air or anything that comes in through the door itself when I'm opening up the lab. Now I do normally wear my N95 mask while I'm in the lab, and that's just because we're constantly breathing out all kinds of particulates that can contaminate the cultures, whether it be some of the fungal cultures we're working with, some of the plant tissue cultures that we're working with. We don't want to contaminate those, so that's why we're always wearing our not only personal protective equipment, but protective equipment to protect the projects too. Now, this system that we have here, it needs to be decontaminated once a week. So we also have a 185 nanometer UVC light that produces a lot of ozone as well. And so this lab is cleansed anywhere from once to twice a week using both ozone and that 185 nanometer UV light, which completely obliterates any kind of germs, you could say, that are in here. And then all that O3 is vented outside so that we don't have it contaminating other sections that, well, it's bad for you to breathe in. You don't want to breathe in ozone. So now that I've explained the lab to you, let me get into some of the projects we've been working on that I'm really excited for y'all to get to try out. So a lot of you have already been trying out the Springtail chocolate. As you know, it's formulated specifically for springtails. It has all of the minerals that they need without a lot of excessive minerals that they don't need, that they can't utilize. Also with the Springtail chocolate, this can be spread very thinly around the container, meaning that you really don't need that much per culture, but it's also going to increase the surface area on which the springtails can walk, and it's going to stay hydrated as long as you keep it misted down about every 2 weeks. And as long as you keep it misted down, then you don't have to worry about any kind of cracking or anything like that. Even then, you can let go for 3-4 weeks, that's fine. You do have any cracking, you can very easily patch with more Springtail chocolate. But this has allowed us to be able to culture a lot of new types of springtails that otherwise we're never able to in the hobby. We're actually working with over 30 different types of springtails right now, which we've released, I believe, with the standard types that have already been in the hobby, 9 types now. So we have those 9 types on our website. Some are out of stock, we're letting the cultures recover, but we'll have them back up soon, and we're about to release some more exciting cultures. Another exciting innovation are our 200 nanometer vented lids. These vented lids, not only do they locking out any type of mites or fruit flies or other types of springtails that could contaminate your culture, but with these vents, no longer do you have to worry about venting your cultures and then getting mites in your cultures, infesting them. You don't have to worry about fruit flies getting in, laying their eggs, and their larvae eating the food of the springtails or even the springtail eggs. You don't have to worry about other types of springtails getting in if you're trying to build a collection and then your beautiful collector springtail getting contaminated with something like Fulsema candida. Another big thing about this, again, it doesn't allow any type of contaminants in, but it allows gas exchange. So no longer do you have to worry about, oh, I overfed and I didn't check my culture for a couple weeks. You come back and all of your springtails are dead from CO2 poisoning. You don't have to worry about your culture booming to the point at which they're producing a lot of CO2. Again, you come back a couple weeks later, you haven't checked on it all in a week or two, and your culture is dead from CO2 poisoning. So that's a really big innovation. These are not very cheap, I'll admit. We try not to mark them up too much, but it makes a huge difference in being able to culture springtails and not having to worry about CO2 poisoning that you run across every now and then. Another huge innovation, though, that we're releasing today are these springtail lattices. As you can see here, this is now the most advanced springtail culture, I guess you could say, in the world. Before, we were looking at these and we were saying, hey, how can you put a master culture inside of one of these 8-ounce cultures? What do we do with that unutilized airspace? Because that airspace that was in here was not doing anything before. Well, now with this lattice structure, we have exponentially increased the surface area within this culture. The lattices themselves, we make out of a plant-based plastic. So it's not something that's ever going to leach anything harmful into your culture, even when exposed to moisture. But we also have these coated in our springtail chocolate, which, by the way, is not edible. Don't try to lick this. Just thought I would give that little disclaimer there. With the springtail chocolate coating it, it gives us even better results. We're seeing a lot more springtails laying their eggs on this. If some of the food gets on this, they'll eat the food on this, no matter what level it's on. They'll just absolutely swarm this, which we'll show some videos of the springtails swarming these lattices, which is pretty exciting. So those are two products that you'll be able to see on our website, the chocolate-coated lattice and the standard lattice. You can put those in a standard 8-ounce container, or again, you can get our locking lid container that has the vented lid, so you'll have the most advanced springtail culture in the world. Another big innovation that we've been working on here, which is not necessarily something that's not been done before, but something that we're doing, is a lot of the tissue culturing of plants, trying to bring you a lot more plants into the hobby. Now, for instance, we've been releasing a lot of different jewel orchids. You can see those on our site. But we're also working with a lot of miniature Madagascar orchids as well. These are going to be planted out today and hardened off in the greenhouse for about 2 months before being sold. So you'll see our plant selection increasing constantly. I know that a lot of things have been selling out lately, so just stick with us. We're going to get those restocked for you. We're constantly building more greenhouses to where we can increase our volume, to where we can supply you with all the plants that you're wanting. Another big product that we're going to be releasing are our mushroom grow bags. These are specifically for ghost fungus. So this is not an edible mushroom, but this is one particularly that you'll enjoy for its bioluminescence. You'll be able to put this in your vivarium, cut it open once it's fully colonized, of course, and then you'll have these beautiful mushrooms that will grow out of it, the fruiting bodies of the fungus, that then you'll be able to enjoy that bioluminescence once you turn the light off. And we're working with the second strain, the Pinellus, that we'll be releasing soon. But before, I know there were some kits on the market to where you could sprinkle the spores in the vivarium, but a lot of people didn't have the best success with that because those spores then had to fight against other types of fungi for territory to be able to colonize the wood in your vivarium to then sprout their fruiting bodies. Whereas with this, they already have a pure substrate that they can colonize without any kind of competition whatsoever. And then once it's fully colonized, you can cut it open and then any foreign fungal spores they'll be able to kill off. We'll also be releasing a lot of gourmet mushrooms as well. We're actually opening a new website, which is going to be texasmycology.com. You'll be able to buy a lot of liquid cultures like you see here, but in a 10 milliliter syringe, to where you can do your own fungal cultures. We'll also be selling the spawn cultures, and we'll be selling the fruiting blocks, to where if you would like to enjoy those mushrooms at home, whether it be oyster mushrooms, gray oyster, pink oyster, golden oyster, blue oyster, or if you like enoke, shiitake, any of those gourmet mushrooms, you'll be able to grow them right from the comfort of home. Don't even have to worry about going to the farmer's market to get them for yourself. I know a lot of you have also been trying out the beneficial microbial inoculant. That's been something that's revolutionized the hobby, in my opinion, because now you have a pure culture of 15 different beneficial strains of mycorrhizal fungi and beneficial bacteria that will not only help to cycle the nutrients within your vivarium, not only will they bolster your plants against disease, inhabiting the roots of your plants, making them grow more vigorously, but they're also going to make your soil more resistant to fungal incursion. If a mold spore floats in, because you know, even when you're breathing into your vivarium, even when you open the door and there's a gust of air that comes into your vivarium, it is carrying fungal spores that can then inhabit your vivarium and then take it over. So that's something that we're very proud of, because with that product, you can inoculate with all those beneficial strains, and those will help to not only bolster your plants, but will help to also stave off harmful types of bacteria and fungi. Anyways, that's all that we're going to do in this video, but we have a lot of other things that we're going to be releasing soon. I know it pains you want to hear about them, but we have to keep those under wraps for now until we release them. But I'm really excited to let you all know about the next innovative idea that we're releasing to the hobby. Again, if y'all have any questions, call me anytime. My phone number is listed on the website. You can ask any questions even about frogs or frog care that you'd like. Make sure to check out our website, see all the products that we have, and if you need anything, I'm easy to reach. Thank you again, and take care.